So the purpose of this video is to really just to discuss an unbaked idea that I'm currently working on or kind of thinking about, but I just thought I might as well just, talk about it a little bit, and as I just find a way of thinking it. So I have historically been a person who thinks about the future, like almost in a way like I could call myself a visionary in a way, just in terms of how I think about things, how I visualize. I have a tendency to spend a lot of time just thinking about the future, and there probably is a reason why it's like that, but that's just generally how I've been. And I was having a conversation with my wife, and I just had a question. I was like, what do you think about like the next 3 years? Yeah. So I was having a conversation with her, and we were just, I think my question was, it was a very random question, just like, what do you think about the next 3 years? And she's like, no, I don't really think about that. And I was kind of taken aback a little bit, because I was like, what do you mean you don't think about that? And I had a little bit of time to brew, and I just thought about a dichotomy of how two things can be true at the same time, that there's almost a temptation to always be future focused to a fault that you actually discount. You discount the now, you discount the current, present, or the actions that you need to do in this moment. So it's almost like I'm thinking, I want to do this massive property developments, or I want to do these investments in the future, and I'm going to do that. And it's almost, in a way, you're always in the future, but kind of pausing and a bit of a random thought to say, the future is also now. Like this moment, right? This moment, this time, that is the moment that I always have. Like that is the moment that I can have an impact. Yes, I do make decisions. I am almost optimizing or making choices and selecting things to ensure that the future is better. So say, for example, a couple of years when you go to college or when you go to university or whatever you do, right? You're setting yourself up for success in the moment. So you have to study, you have to, almost like you're doing an investment that is making sure that the future then arrives. And then the future actually does indeed arrive, but where is the most value? Is the most value in terms of the future, or the current activities that you're doing where you're optimizing that when the future comes, they are already sort of like together or blended? I know it sounds a little bit convoluted, but stay with me. So I was kind of thinking, I was like, what is better? And I don't think there's an answer to that. I think society still needs visionaries. Right now there is the drive to go to space. I know Jeff Bezos, the Virgin Galactic guy, as well as who else is in the space race. So there's Amazon, there's Tesla, as well with Elon Musk. And they're just thinking about really, really big pictures, like way, way out there, right? And then there's the other basic things, just like, it's a bit futuristic. So in society, there's always going to be room for visionaries, people that are taking humanity and thinking about really, really big picture, like stretch ideas. You know what? Yeah. And then there's just going to be another part of society, right, that are going to be more focusing on what's happening in the present. Now, the question is, I think there's no right or wrong, or there's neither an advantage or disadvantage. I think in everything that we do, there should always be an awareness as well. An awareness to say, whichever way that is your natural inclination, have awareness and a way almost to reflect and have like benchmarks or like points that are going to guide you and understand where you are. Excuse me. I know that's random, but like speaking for my own situation, I cannot speak for anybody else. What I do know is that in a way you can fall into the trap of not appreciating the present, of not appreciating the place or the amount of effort or the things that you need to do in the now, because you're thinking that it's going to be better, or you're living it for the future, as opposed to finding a way of embracing or harnessing or catching that wind or that visions that you have and bring them to the now. To say, okay, this is the big picture. How do I make the big picture today? And you have the ability to almost be the ability to go up and down the ladder. So it's almost like at the top of the ladder is the big picture, it's the futuristic, it's the 10-year plan, it's the 100-year plan. It's like the boom, right? It's going to move. And then at the same time, it's like, okay, how are we? Foot on the ground. What does that mean on a daily basis? Who do I need to be in this moment to embrace this? So like, I mean, how do I quantify that? It's like, if you are like a big picture thing, there's a tendency to discount the small things, or to think that the small things are not important, or they're not as valuable, or they don't. And because almost in a way you are thinking about home runs, and I'm very much like that, like go big or go home, right? It's an idea, but you shouldn't discount. Right. And this is a message to myself, that there's certain things sometimes that you take for granted which are also actually quite important, which are forming the foundational pieces, or which are forming the structure, or the thing that's going to be holding down. Like, I have a whole bunch of construction that's happening around us and some towers, and there's a building there. They're going to be like 4 towers that they're building, and in the foundation they spend about maybe 7 to 8 months doing the digging, doing the setting up and everything. But in the future, when you look at that building, you just see the final vision, which is the vision, like what the architects and whoever did the design, what they had in mind. But when it was actually now time to implement it and build this thing, they had to put this structure which is there. So the point I'm making is, in being a visionary, in being thinking about the future, balancing it with the now and being present, and using that as the basis of your foundations and what you're doing, and then you actually then build off that to say, okay, this is the vision. So the analogy of the ladder is like, okay, final product, this is what it's going to look like. Come back, okay, this is the foundation. What does it need? Okay, this building is going to be 50 stories tall and everything. How do we make that like strong? How do we make it like unshakable? What kind of structures do we need to put in place? And then you're doing that. And the reason why I then say that is because like there's a tendency, like, I like freedom is really one of my values, and I don't know how many of you have the values of freedom, or freedom is important to you, right? So like from a future perspective, you're thinking, like, okay, yeah, I want to build financial freedom, or I want to have flexibility, or to build flexibility for me to do the things I want, to be in locations that I want to be once the border open, and so forth and so forth, right? So that's it. But in order to do that, there's almost like a structure that you need to put in. And so back to the point I was saying, that where I had a very completely different way, like a couple of years I'll be like, wow, this person doesn't have vision or doesn't have whatever. But I don't think that's even important, in the sense that like there needs to be a balance, and I think being present is more valuable than anything else. So yes, think about where you want to be, and this is a message indeed for myself, and I don't know if you relate. Anyway, if you all relate with this, I think leave a comment and just tell me some of your thoughts, or how you've embraced this journey of balancing, future thinking, current thinking, showing up in the present moment, being the best self that you can, putting in place structures and things that are going to enable you to actually grow, and maintaining that focus as well. And almost in a way, you're like setting up to almost be automatic, that eventually you can withdraw, because you can't withdraw from something that you didn't plant in, or where you didn't sow the seeds, and the seeds are sown today, right now. Anyway, I know that I've been going on, and this is just meant to be a quick random thought, but I just thought I'll share. Anyway, if you found value from this, please subscribe to the channel, and leave a like, engage with me, and if there's anything that you'd like me to cover, or ideas, or even subjects, like, let me know. Anyway, you have a great day. Bye.